From cats that can fly to Florida's version of Bigfoot, here are the top 5 terrifying creatures scientists they can't explain. Number 5 on this list is the unicorn goat. Mental Floss writes, Dr. Charles Reed, distinguished professor of radiology at the University of Pennsylvania, held the x-ray up for the gathered reporters to see. It was quite clear, he told them, that the horn of the creature in the radiograph was part of the skull. It was not an implant or an artificial addition. The members of the press turned their attention to Lancelot, the docile animal that looked remarkably like a goat and who likely contributed to the room smelling like a petting zoo. He stood 2 feet 6 inches tall, not including the large protrusion erupting from the middle of his forehead. The reporters were told they could pull on the horn to see for themselves. It didn't come off. As they tugged, Lancelot munched on some rose petals. Despite the controversy his presence had created among animal rights groups during his visit to New York in April 1985, he seemed to suffer no crisis of identity. Another professor, Dr. William Donowick, declared him content, healthy, and in case there was doubt, living. Lancelot had just been validated. He was a content, healthy, living unicorn. That's right, guys, there has literally been a unicorn before. Now, obviously when we think of unicorns, we think of rainbows and magical abilities. Our main guy Lancelot here did not have those capabilities, but he was a happy and healthy goat with a massive horn coming from his head. Scientists have no idea why it happened to Lancelot, but basically the 2 horns that he should have had merged into one massive horn on top. What caused this? What are some signs that it's gonna happen? How to prevent it? Or how to even cause it if you want it to happen are things that scientists have yet to figure out. Number 4 on this list is 2-headed cows. Now, 2-headed things, or mutations of sorts, do happen. They're extremely rare and in a lot of cases fatal, but they aren't impossible. In the example I'm going to show you now, we have exactly that. A 2-headed cow mutation. But I want you to look at the picture and comment down below what you think the animal actually is. Here's the pic. Okay, so now that you've had a good look at it, there are clearly 2 heads, and also it kind of looks like a pig. I think that that's the weirdest thing about this, is that the 2-headed cow mutation in this instance looked way more like a pig than it looked like a cow. This calf was born to a cow, but it looks like a pig. Veterinarians and scientists studied this animal that came out of Russia and were pretty stumped. One potential explanation was crossbreeding, meaning that a pig and a cow got it on, and this was the scary result. Although apparently based on the story and how the animals were kept, that would have been an impossibility, or at least very unlikely. Sadly, the creature died right after being born and could not be studied while it was alive. This is definitely a freak thing of nature though, and something that scientists are gonna have to do a lot of research into explaining. Number 3 on this list is giant squids. Now, here's the thing. Giant squids can for the most part be explained. There's squids that are really giant, and they're just doing squid things. So simple. The thing is, we really don't know a lot about them and where they might have come from, what creatures they evolved from, or their tendencies. Tina Donvito says, this huge animal could be the mythical Kraken featured in Pirates of the Caribbean and Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Although it's unlikely that the giant squid actually attacked ships, very little is known about this mysterious creature of the deep. It wasn't even photographed alive until 2004 and not filmed until several years later when it was caught at the surface. Underwater video was not accomplished until 2012. Scientists have learned virtually nothing about the lives of these deep sea giants, not even how big they get, although some estimates predict they grow up to 66 feet. Only their cousin, the colossal squid, might be bigger in weight, although probably not length, but even less is known about them. Now I want to circle back to what was written there about how we don't know if it attacked ships or not, because that's important. Back in the day, ships were 100% attacked by giant squid-like creatures. This is where the legend of the Kraken came from. But if we think it's unlikely that these giant squids ever did that, then does that mean that we can confirm there is in fact a Kraken? Scientists currently cannot explain why these creatures would ever attack a ship, because from the limited amount that we've studied them, that doesn't seem to be in their nature. If we can't explain that, then we also can't explain why these ships were attacked in the first place, which ultimately leaves the legend open for a Kraken. I always thought that we kind of locked it in that the legend of the Kraken was based off of a giant squid, but after realizing how little we actually know about them, I think that the door is still open on what actually used to attack those old ships in the first place. Number 2 on this list is winged cats. Our little feline friends, as we currently know them, are pretty much all land dwellers. They certainly have a pretty sizable leap, but our standard kitty doesn't have any way to maintain their flight and therefore will come back to Earth pretty quickly. However, winged cats is something that's been talked about for a long time and may have even existed at one point. Ripley says, winged cats are a popular motif across art and literature, from Renaissance art to children's book series Cat Wings. Their reoccurring appearance leaves us to wonder, could winged cats really exist? Ripley's Believe It or Not is no stranger to the vast world of animal anomalies. These winged cats, however, make no appearance in our collection. Barring early history where cats across millennia have been depicted with wings in mythology, the modern sightings of cats with wings can be traced back at least 100 years. One of the earliest known mentions of a winged cat is from Henry David Thoreau, who described a winged cat at a farmhouse in 1842. According to Thoreau, the cat had long hairy appendages sprouting from its body, but that they fell off in the spring and were kept by the writer in his private collection for a time. So maybe Henry did have a cat with wings at his home back in the day. However, that begs the question, why did those wings fall off in the spring? Because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Well, in all honesty, nobody knows. No one knows if these things that were sprouting from this cat were wings or not. No one knows that if all of these pieces of art and references to winged cats is actually substantiated by something, or if it's just a form of artistic expression. Can you imagine how cool a winged kitty would be though, guys? Cats are already pretty freaking awesome, but if they could also fly around, that would make for a pretty elite pet. Also, side note, are you guys a dog person or a cat person? Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, number 1 on this list is the skunk ape. The skunk ape is an unexplained urban legend that is located in and around Florida. It's believed that this area is home to a type of Bigfoot creature, and that creature is called the skunk ape. There's been countless sightings of this massive creature before, and the local lore is pretty extensive. Dave Shealy is an expert on the creature and has seen it a few times. The first time he saw it, he says, it was walking across the swamp and my brother spotted it first, but I couldn't see it over the grass. I wasn't tall enough. My brother picked me up and I saw it about 100 yards away. We were just kids, but we'd heard about it and knew for sure what we were looking at. It looked like a man, but completely covered with hair. The clip I'm about to show is actually from Dave Shealy, where he got real up close to one of these creatures and actually caught it on camera. So as you can see, this doesn't look like anything we're familiar with today. It's like a bear, but it's also like an ape, but its hair looks too long to be a conventional ape, so I have no idea what the heck it is. Maybe one day we'll be able to capture one of these creatures and scientists can finally understand what type of beast we're actually dealing with. But there you have it, guys. That is our list of the top 5 terrifying creatures scientists just can't explain. Please comment down below what you thought about this list and some other scary creatures that I may have missed. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog. I'll catch you next time.